Going into college, I imagined that I was going to be an architect, and my introduction to art classes was really at ASU, taking pre-architecture classes. After taking the pre-architecture curriculum, I decided to go with art, but I decided to leave ASU and went up to NAU. So I went up to NAU, explored art classes in general, and discovered sculpture. Discovered that I really like sculpture, 3D, and pretty soon into that, I discovered that I liked making big sculpture too. I think that was fulfilling that need of mine that I sensed when I thought I was going to go into architecture. That need of mine to work with space on a larger scale and to work as a sort of a builder within that space, which is how I have come to approach art and sculpture.
It's time to get wise.
I do have some background in construction too. You know, I've had my share of day jobs over the years, and some of them have been in construction. I learned some of the administrative aspects of dealing with a construction project, which is important when you're dealing with a public art installation, such as the one I'm doing right now. Once you leave the studio and you go to the site, it's a construction project. It's not so much an art project anymore. So you need to have a sense of what to do and all that. You know, I will hire subcontractors and vendors to help produce the project. And in the end, you know, my goal is just to be able to pay myself a fair wage for the time and effort that I've put into the project. And, you know, you have to be pretty vigilant to be able to pull that off. You know, it's not like I'm you know, buying a villa in Italy with all the riches that I'm amassing from these public art projects, but I'm paying myself maybe a fair wage, and some may think, you know, a low end of what would be a fair wage for all the effort that I put into it. It's not unlike a general contractor doing a construction project. A lot of the same sort of managerial issues and concerns apply to a project like this. The piece at the Greyhound station, it's a bit of a multimedia installation. We have two 40-foot long cast concrete benches that we are treating, doing a tile mosaic work as well as colored stain on them. You know, so there's vendors involved with that. The materials, significant investment in the materials for the mosaic work. Had a three-man crew doing the mosaic work. Simultaneously, I hired some laborers to dig out for the foundations. There's not one, but two separate foundations that had to be excavated and poured. So you've got, you know, you got laborers on site for a few days. Everything from jackhammering to excavating by hand. And then there's a concrete guy. Got to get the concrete guy in there to form and pour the concrete. You know, we're still not even out of the ground yet. I've hired welders as assistant in the shop as well as on site during the installation. Crane operators. There's still electrician for hooking up the light box, painting vendors, so on. Fencing, you know, every detail of a construction site needs to be looked into. During the grouting of the tile work, We had some pretty good weather early on, but the weather turned cold, and so I had to build a tent over the bench and put space heaters in it so that it wouldn't freeze at night. You can't put grout on and then have it freeze. It needs to be protected from freezing for, 2 or 3 days. So that's one of those kind of things when you leave the studio and you go out on site, you have to just kind of be ready for everything. And chances are you haven't thought of everything. I didn't imagine that would be part of the process, but as worried as I was how that would work out, it seemed fine. I would go by in the morning and open that thing up, and it was noticeably warmer in there. So I was pleased that worked, but I was also worried that I don't know, someone's going to come along and steal the space heaters, and then I'll be sunk or something. But that worked out fine. As far as interaction with the public during installation, you get the whole range, as is fair game when you're in public art. You get people that think it's great that what you're doing. There are people that wonder why in the hell you're doing that, or why is the city doing that, or this and that.
One of the locals came by and made a big crack about noise pollution.
You just try to put a positive spin on what you're doing and what it can add to the community. And I think the toughest customers, the toughest audience that I had was up at the Denver skate park. I had an installation there, and I was on site for 4 weeks, from jackhammering a concrete slab to digging out for the foundations to the final installation and final finish on the piece. The skate park is an interesting cross-section of teenagers, and many of them are irreverent, and so there were some challenges in sort of pushing into their space and doing what I needed to do and what they are very territorial about.
Well, we're setting the major sculptural elements of the installation. As you can see, the complete installation includes the benches, the tile work, and the color staining on that. But today we're bringing in the fabricated steel elements, one that sort of relates to each of the 2 benches. The city requested that we deal with the benches that were on site. And one of the existing shapes on the benches is the serpentine seat back of the bench. So they're relating to that. They're also relating to the theme of the piece, which is a stop on the Rio Grande. So we're trying to create the kind of the feeling of water and flow with the tile work, and also with the serpentines. But those shapes are wave shapes. It could relate to energy or motion or that sort of thing. And we're also trying to relate to the activities on the site, the trains and the buses, the wheels and motions, the stop and go. And so we have the curved elements that could echo the wheels in motion. They echo the arches that you see all throughout the site. I mean, you can't count them, there's so many arches. So a segment of a circle is the theme here on the site. We're playing that up in a way that it echoes and just kind of celebrates what's going on here on the site, both architecturally and also functionally. Yeah.
The most fun part of doing public art is probably pretty much the same as the most fun part of doing any piece of art, is when it's finished and you can stand back and see the final product and go, yeah, I like that, that's nice. This is why I do it, because there are plenty of times in the process when it's just work, the old description that art and many other things as well, perhaps are 95% perspiration and 5% inspiration. And so there are times in the process, like maybe when the crane is swinging one final element into place during the installation.
2, 3.
That you finally see come to fruition what your vision was, and then when all the finishing touches are complete, it's, you know, it's a very gratifying experience.